Yeah, put the jerry can holder back on. Going over Fraser Island soon, so I need some fuel to go across there. But what are we up to today? I got a piece of wood holding up the bonnet as well. Got some time lapse, hopefully that'll work this time. Excess wire in there. You see that? Bit of split tube, taking out the auxiliary battery. So what am I doing? My BM1 that I had in the canopy died a while ago, so I've just taken out all the wiring. That's the shunt in there. Gonna take out the battery box. I'm trying to tidy up all this wire. My Red Arc BCDC 1225 isn't working at the moment, so I've got to check all the wiring on it as well. So really it's just an electrical day today, tidying up as much as I can. I'm also going to try and replace the aerial. There's an insert in there, but at the moment the PVS head unit won't let me take the aerial up high enough to get the insert out. So I've got a hot wire. There's a plug-in back here, hot wire that, and get the motor to unwind as far as it will go. I'll just bring you up to date where we are. The time lapse is camera's gone flat. I've just got to find out which is the power pin there when the aerial button's pushed up, so I can hot wire this side of the aerial. That's the plug that goes to the aerial there. If we're looking at the aerial plug here, this top one where the alligator clip is the positive and the bottom is the negative. In reverse polarity, and I'll go down or up. I had it going the right way and wound it all the way up, and I couldn't get this plug undone. I'll show you what it looks like. So this rubber bit's the insert for the guard, and that's the threaded part. I'll show you what I'm going to try and replace. I think they call it an aerial cord. Cheaper than replacing an aerial. Toyota call it rod and pipe shields. You see it's got a gear on one side of that nylon cord. Just got to make sure when you pull the aerial out, you know which way that gear is facing. I should tell you this is my third attempt at this. I'll tell you more about the other two attempts a little bit later. Well, you can see I've wound it out a bit. I'll tell you one of the reasons I was unsuccessful previously. The automatic aerial circuitry mechanism, whatever you like to call it, when you press the up arrow button, it'll only go as high as the aerial is. And you can see that, let's see if I can stretch this aerial out. There's a whole bunch more cord there to go. And it's still inside the motor. It won't come out, so I've got to keep on unwinding it. And you can see the gears facing towards the front, so I've got to be careful when I put it back in to make sure it does the same. That's it out. Next thing I've got to do is make sure the one I've got, the new one, is the same length. But that earlier attempt that I just discussed, and the reason I gave up is because to get to that plug for the electric aerial, you need to pull out the spare battery and the battery carrier and a whole bunch of stuff, and I just didn't want to have to do that just for the aerial. So that was actually attempt number 2, that one I've just discussed. This is attempt number 3, as I mentioned. First attempt I did have the battery box out because I was doing some work anyhow, and I had a complete aerial with the motor and everything, and you know, prior preparation. The coax cable had a square end on it, and the PVS head unit has a round receptacle, female receptacle, so the aerial that I got was no good. Returned it, got a refund, thankfully. So say now this is attempt number 3 because I've had to hot wire that plug. Going to check off against the new one to make sure it's the same length, and then I'm going to have to get the boss out to help me install it, because I need to hot wire and feed that cord in as well. Well, the overall length is exactly the same, but if you have a look at the aerials, I've got the top lined up. The new aerial is actually a little bit longer, like the metal casing. I don't think that's going to make any difference. I guess we'll find out. Just about got it finished now. What I've used to unscrew and screw that is just a bent pair of circlip pliers. There's probably a special tool for that. I've seen people on YouTube use spanners or pliers or multi-grips as well. So all I've got to do now is just finish winding that all the way down. Then I'm going to jump in the car and make sure it goes up and down as advertised. Why did I do it? This mast is actually bent, and we're not getting very good reception out of it at the moment as well. So hopefully the new mast and rope and whatever will rectify that. Those of you with 79 series will know about the electric aerial if you've got one. Ignition on and the aerial should go up. There we go.
It's pretty face, no ghost in a big old bed.
Turn that music off. Switch down here. Gonna push it all the way down, and you'll know that it'll only go down well, most of the way, and it should stop. Perfect. Turn it off. Should go down. Perfect. Turn it back on. It should go back up to the same place. There it is. Back up again. Oh, get rid of that music. Lovely. Just what I wanted.